Colin Farrell is depressed, and he's in a depressing place with a lot of depressing people, and it all fits into a genre that literally means black.
It'd take a miracle to change a man like me.
You know when we talk about like how someone wins an Oscar and then quite often they go and make a trashy, kind of not very good film the next year, just something silly? Well, Colin Farrell won an Oscar 2 years ago and won an Emmy this year, and Edward Berger won 2 Oscars 2 years ago, so you could argue that the two of them coming together to make something not that good is overdue. Ballad of a Small Player stars Colin Farrell as a professional gambler. What a weird term that is, right? Professional means you make money doing it. If anything, most gamblers do the opposite. Anyway, he calls himself Lord Doyle. He's an absolute addict, just runs around, losing money every night, wakes up drunk, not knowing where he is, in a complete state, just a complete pathetic human being who owes a huge amount of money to his hotel and is going to get arrested if he doesn't pay that back in 3 days. And then Tilda Swinton comes along playing kind of private investigator, I think a private investigator, who basically says that he's going to get deported in like 2 days if he doesn't pay her back. So there's all kinds of horrible things going on, and he's just running around, this pitiless creature, and yet somehow Dao Ming, a nice lady, takes pity on him and tries to help him out of the situation, giving him money when he is just pathetically running around asking everybody for money. It's very depressing. It's very depressing, yeah. This feels like a tourism commercial for Macao, hiding in the form of a very basic, thrown-together sort of tale that you can see coming a mile off. Watch Tilda Swinton put on a rougher accent than she's done in decades. Watch Colin Farrell just literally seem like he's trying to choke the life out of every playing card he touches. What is it with that thing? I hate it. I hated watching it, and I had to watch it like 30 times. God damn. And watch him be, if possible, I think he gets close, but I think this is probably the most of a git that he's ever played. That is impressive, though. Oh, and of course, watch as they mention that he's an addict like one time and then try to shy away from ever using that word and just run away from it, and just, even though that's the major focus of the entire film, they just really, it doesn't feel like they ever, focus on it. Basically, he bounces around for over 100 minutes trying to get more money off of various people to stay afloat and pay about 1 million different people, while Tilda Swinton's private investigator threatens to get him deported to answer for crimes back in the UK, and Dao Ming kind of just appears at random intervals to give him a lot more comfort than he deserves, because he's just like an icky person. That's the only way I could describe, like a git or icky. Those are the defining words that characterize him in this, yeah. And he plays the role well. I even felt early on like I quite liked like the direction and the cinematography, but everything that was kind of unique or slightly different about it just seemed to fade away, and it became more and more of this drab, dry thing as it went on. It's very strange. It's like opening with a delicious appetizer, and then the main course is kind of dry bread. Like there was really not a lot going on as it went on, and the writing's not as good as it thinks it is. And it does have a very small cast. I mean, Colin Farrell, like, it is just focused on him the vast majority of the time, and his character is just lacking something that a main character would need to have that much focus, like, directed at them, He's just leaping around, looks like he's on the verge of a heart attack at all times, even when he has literally just had one. It's a film that really wants to feel like a fever dream, which is a pet peeve of mine, and yet it kind of falls short of even doing that because it can't really commit to anything. It's also got a twist that, my goodness, that's not going to hit you in a sudden moment of realization unless you really don't look either way before crossing the road, if you know what I mean. There's just so much about this that makes it feel like a lesser sort of drab and yet neon-drenched, self-important Netflix trash. It doesn't have anything going for it, really. It's got Colin Farrell and Edward Berger. You'd think that they'd really put something together, and the direction at the beginning does feel like it's going somewhere, but then it just doesn't. It becomes just so much less interesting as it goes on. The writing is never that interesting to begin with, and I just don't feel like Colin Farrell can do enough to, like, pull all of this together when his character really feels kind of basic and underdeveloped and more like a side bit character in a more interesting, more important film than this, yeah. I just don't like the way they tackle addiction. That is kind of the only thing they're really going for here, as far as I can tell. And they fall short. They fall short of pretty much everything, and falling short is basically the theme of the day. So I'm giving We Have Lost in Translation at Home 2.5 stars. It is a thing, like, a lot of people, they, like, win an Oscar, and then just the next thing they do is just Ooh, it's clearly something they agree to at like Oscars after parties. That's where people clearly go to pitch scripts that don't deserve Oscar winners behind it. Yeah.